So the story is layered with symbolism, hidden details, and moments that hint at something much bigger. Most of it only really clicks in the final moments, and I've got some theories of my own, so stick around till the end of the video while I try to make sense of it. And before we continue, hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Right from the start, 5 kids are staring down a well. Just like in Little Nightmares, the opening scene already feels like a warning, like it's hinting at something tragic waiting at the end. The world doesn't just feel post-apocalyptic, it feels like a war happened, and then something supernatural crawled in through the cracks. And somehow, it all leads back to that well. Then the boy wakes up alone in a tiny boat surrounded by thick mist. There's nothing around him except a blinking red buoy in the distance. He moves past cliffs lined with floating mines. On one side, someone once tried to guide ships safely. On the other, someone rigged the water to explode. That contrast says everything. This used to be a real place. People lived here, worked here. The abandoned factory with desks, keyboards, and luggage scattered everywhere. It wasn't always a nightmare. Something broke it. He finds the girl floating face down in the water. When she wakes up, she attacks him, like she hates him for something he did, even if she can't fully remember it. They reach the shore and enter an industrial building where they find Hood, their first friend, who runs from them instead of letting them help. The island is full of monsters and clear signs of war. Then we meet the Sniffer. It's way too big for the spaces it crawls through, twisting and bending in ways that feel wrong. Its face looks melted. It wears human skin like clothes, washing it, ironing it. There are bathtubs under hanging bodies, cages full of living adults waiting. And the worst part? It can crawl inside corpses. Later, it bursts out of a bloated body at a gas station. That's how it keeps getting ahead of you. It uses bodies like shortcuts. What makes it even worse is how it mimics human behavior, offering ice cream from a truck before grabbing a kid, wearing suits, trying to act normal, like it remembers being human, or wishes it still was. After freeing Hood, the kids escape by stealing its ice cream truck, running it over, and barely stopping before flying off a collapsed road. But things only get worse. There's a flooded town filled with reanimated corpses called swimmers, water mines everywhere, artillery behind hotels, broken defensive walls. In one house, there's a dead soldier sitting in an armchair full of harpoons. The boy carefully takes the weapons from his lap. At a hotel, the bandaged kid returns, only to be grabbed by a massive, deformed pelican. Somehow it traps him even with wings instead of hands. The kids chase it to a barn and find pigs, the only innocent animals in the whole game. When they burn the barn to kill the pelican, the pigs burn too. There are no clean victories here. Then there's the bus. They're resting at a station. The girl asks why they're even here. Red lights start flickering. She grabs her face, flashes of a dead sheep twisting inside a well. Something is inside her. Then a bus with a dead driver shows up. The bus somehow takes them exactly where they need to go. It shouldn't even function. But logic doesn't apply anymore. Yeah. The boarding school goes fully surreal. Faceless dust children roam the halls. They lower pigs, and eventually Bucket, into a pit to feed something below. That thing is called Mother. Massive, spider-like, mixed with human limbs. After consuming Bucket, it spits the dust children back out. The siblings fight it using spears the dust kids throw, then climb into its mouth to pull their friend out. And then suddenly, military trucks, soldiers. For 2 seconds it looks like hope, until you see their faceless faces. They're part of it too. The girl coughs again. Red flashes. The sheep. The truck crashes in a tunnel. They end up near the dam. They fire artillery at a massive underwater creature. Destroyed warships sit nearby. Inside one, there's a giant mutated whale that doesn't attack. They retrieve an eye from a transformed sea creature and give it to the whale. It moves aside. Then the girl vomits up a full-sized sheep. She just coughs, and it comes out, alive. It runs off. The boy carries her anyway, like he refuses to abandon her. Maybe out of guilt. The sheep grows. It hunts them. It takes bucket, then bandage. Every time it consumes someone, it grows bigger. Human limbs start forming. It becomes less animal and more nightmare. There's a sniper in a clock tower, a dying soldier playing piano, soldiers blowing themselves up in trenches, a tank firing wildly until the kids hijack it and smash through walls. It's chaos mixed with tragedy. The final fight feels biblical. They unload tank shells into the sheep. It collapses, then suddenly swallows the boy. Grows even larger, forked tongue, massive. Then it takes the girl, too. Inside, she sees memories. Her friends are performing a blood ritual, cutting their hands and offering their blood. And behind them, there's this portrait of a creepy man hanging on the wall. The way it's framed almost makes it look like they're worshipping him, or following something connected to him. Then they kill her white rabbit, the same rabbit we see referenced in one of the coffins scattered throughout the game. In her memory, she finds it lying there, dead, and she just breaks down. On the floor, there's a sigil drawn out, a circle of rabbits surrounding it. Nothing about it feels accidental. It feels planned, ritualistic, deliberate. Then we see it clearly. They restrain her in a sack and throw her into the well. Sheep-like figures gather. The well overflows. That's one ending. If you find all 5 coffins, there's another. Tar-like beings with white masks approach her body gently. They don't attack. They mourn. Other sacrifices, maybe? Other children thrown down there? Now, the way that I see it is that the 4 boys were desperate. Maybe the war pushed them. Maybe they just wanted things to go back to normal. They needed a sacrifice. And the girl became the sacrificial lamb. They killed her rabbit to break her spirit, offered her to whatever lived in that well. And this is where it reminds me of Silent Hill. In Silent Hill, a cult tried to burn a little girl alive to bring forth their god. It failed, and the pain and suffering created a twisted, fog-covered dimension. We've already seen Tarsier take inspiration from Silent Hill before. The patients in Little Nightmares move and behave a lot like the nurses. Grotesque medical horror, unnatural movement, freezing when you shine light at them except the nurses freeze when you do it. Not mention getting keys from toilets. But anyway, in Reanimal, the ritual actually worked, and the sacrifice created this warped, afterlife-like realm. The kids don't fully remember what they did before the flood, and there were cut dialogues that show this.
Damn it. How are you?
Do you remember anything from before? We're all so scared.
It even looks like they all died after completing the ritual. The coffin ghosts show how each of them died. Hood shot, boy hanged, bandage beaten, bucket pushed off a ledge. But the girl's coffin is different. A rabbit hops off it, the same rabbit they used to lure her before sacrificing her. Maybe when the curse began, all the kids who took part in the ritual were brought back, reanimated, but only to suffer, only to be hunted by the lamb. Maybe it's punishment. Again, like the boy said in his cut dialogue.
Do you know why we're here?
No idea.
Punishment.
And then the war starts, right after the sacrifice and the flood. The city slowly changes, animals act wrong, people don't move the way they should, something spreads. The army tries to seal the place off, reinforce it, control it. But it was never something they could control. At some point it stops being soldiers versus monsters, and becomes soldiers versus their own cursed faceless men. They tried to contain it from the inside, but it's already too late. The curse spreads faster than they can handle. The entire defense collapses piece by piece. That's just my theory, but it makes sense to me. They really outdid themselves with this game. The lore is insanely creepy, but also confusing. I still feel like I'm missing things. If I did, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your theories. There are also a lot of cut dialogues that never made it to the final game, which I made a separate video about, and even a scene from the trailer that never appeared in the final game. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.